Welcome to the West Ham Voice. Thank you for joining me on a very dreary Wednesday evening. I want to get away from the subject of Moyes in, Moyes out, and try and do a few different videos for you, because I think a lot of people are getting rather fed up with, hearing the debates, and everyone's got a view. And everyone's speculating, and really no one really knows what the hell's going on unless we hear something officially. So I just wanted to try and focus on other stories, on other things, and thank you to some of my viewers who have actually said themselves, they're all getting a little bit fed up with all these videos that are going out, whether Moyes in, Moyes out. And as I think it was Ed that said, people, all these YouTube channels, they're either on one side or the other, or there are channels that are trying to sit on the fence to try and not lose viewers, etc. And he's absolutely right, and I just wonder if I've been doing that, trying to sort of see the good side of things, and not really nailing my colors to the mast. So I thought, okay, he's absolutely right. Let's get away from that and let's focus on a few other stories, because there are other stories that are knocking around. There are stories knocking around about players at the club, injury news, updates. Under 21s, they had another fantastic win in the Premier League International Cup on Tuesday night, when they played finaled with a Divine Umbama hat-trick, etc. So there's lots going on. So why not focus on other things? So what I'm going to do is annoy you even more and talk about the ridiculous transfer speculations that are going around. Yeah, we've still got a month and a half to go before the transfer window opens, but there are so many stories out there. And what I'm going to try and do is maybe put them into some sort of context. Is there any sort of truth in us targeting particular players, like, for example, defenders or strikers or whatever it may be? And what I'm going to do over the next few shows, etc., is try and focus on talk about the player that we're targeted with, apparently, according to all the rumours, and then talk about how that player might or might not fit into West Ham United's lineup. Look, we certainly did a fair amount of business in the summertime, didn't we? Without a shadow of a doubt. 160 odd million pounds worth of talent that's there. 8 new players that came in, and many will say, well, surely that's enough, and surely that's more than adequate for David Moyes to be striking a note with these players. But as we know, as the season has gone so far, it's just not quite working out for us. And I talked on Monday night in the West Ham Weekly about two particular areas that we're kind of suffering with. The first, of course, is our defence. We're not keeping any clean sheets. And the second, of course, is just we're creating a lot of chances, but we're just not we're not putting any of our chances away. So what do? Does David Moyes go into the transfer market and look for other players? Look, certainly an awful lot of players have left in the summer. Let's not forget that we had quite a number of players leave. Contracts ending, loan spells ending, etc. So we had no choice. David Moyes had no choice but to go into the market and go in heavy. So, but has he got the blend right, or is there more to do? Look, it's evidence, we're not scoring goals, but like I said, we're also conceding too many. We're doing really well in the Europa Conference, and I know a lot of people are going to say it's against lower level opposition, and of course we'll be scoring goals against lower level opposition, but it certainly shows that we are creating chances, but we do need to sort of tighten up in defence, and we do need to be finishing off our chances up front as well. Now, let me make it very, very clear. All these stories that are coming out are not from me making them up. They are stories that are knocking out there in social media, etc. So these are just stories I'm picking up about players that we're meant to be linked with. And the first one, of course, is surrounding Everton player Michael Keane. Now, all right, don't shoot the messenger, but this is apparently that a player that David Moyes has liked, and he apparently has been looking at trying to sign for quite some time. Look, Keane, he joined Everton in 2017 for a record fee, or I think it was a record fee, certainly for Everton back then, of nearly £30 million, initially for a 5-year contract. He was part of the Ronald Koeman era of change at Everton, which didn't really quite work out. But he must have been doing something right, because Keane's initial 5.5-year contract was extended only a couple of years ago till 2025. 29 years of age, he'll be 30 in January. He's so far made 189 appearances for Everton throughout his career there. But his time at Everton has been somewhat thwarted a little bit because mainly of his because of his play last season. It was said that he wasn't at his best at all. Many Everton fans would like to see the back of him, but also Everton have brought in Connor Cody and Tarkowski as their new partnership in that defence. And he's basically fallen out of favour. His third choice. He's only made a couple of appearances so far this season, primarily in the League Cup, and I think he's made one appearance in the Premier League of around 20 minutes. He was first choice, but now he's fallen out of favour, and he's certainly fallen behind Cody and Tarkowski. He's also made a number of England appearances, 12 international appearances, where the last one was back in 2020 in an international friendly against the Republic of Ireland. But since then, things have kind of fallen away. In the last couple of years, his stature for Everton and certainly for England have fallen away. Reports suggest that they were offered around £10 million for the player. And might there be another alternative? Might there be a player plus cash swap deal? We already know that Craig Dawson wants to move back up north. Look, first of all, is Everton going to do business with West Ham United? We don't know. If he really is third choice and Everton want to get rid of him, then maybe if Dawson might be a sweetener for them, and maybe a bit of cash plus a player swap might do it for them. Dawson, 34 years of age, he's been fantastic for us, of course, since he joined West Ham. No one thought that he was going to have the career that he's had at West Ham United, but even this season is not quite to the level that we were hoping for. He's been injured, of course, but many people say his eyes been, his eyes not on the ball. He's not quite the player that he was. And let's have a look at some of the stats to sort of compare these players, because quite frankly, this is last season in the Premier League. They're very, very similar. Look, for games played, 34 for Craig Dawson, whereas games played, 32 for Keane. Number of minutes played, more for Keane. Ball recoveries, Keane is slightly better. Possession lost, again, Keane is slightly better. Possession lost, Dawson is slightly better than Keane. Number of goals, 2 for Dawson, 3 for Keane. Pass accuracy, very similar, not too far off. If there's anything between the two, basically, Keane was in a team that just beat off relegation last season with Everton, whereas West Ham United, as we know, made it back up into Europe again. And so Dawson was playing in a team that had more confidence, was playing in a team that he was a big part of. The only thing with Keane, people are saying, or Everton fans are saying, is he's not blessed with many. He's not blessed with many skills. Certainly not comfortable on the ball, and certainly no pace either. Now, given that we've gone out and bought the likes of Nia Fagerd, you'd think that David Moyes would be wanting a player that has got pace, because we're going to need it. The Premier League is a fast-moving league, and we can't have players that are slow off the pace. So having bought Aged, Kehrer is quite a fast player as well. Is Keane really the sort of player that David Moyes is really going to go for? I'm not so sure, to be quite honest with you. I think it's maybe David Moyes, knowing that Craig Dawson wants to leave West Ham United, maybe he's looking at Michael Keane and thinking he could be the next player that he could resurrect the career of. Maybe he's the sort of player that David Moyes can do exactly what he did with Dawson and get him back up to firing on all cylinders. He's certainly been a good player before. He's certainly off the ball in the last couple of years. Craig Dawson certainly wants to leave West Ham, and there is a lot of talk about him moving in January. So if he is going to move, then we are going to be looking at replacements, and maybe Michael Keane for a fee of something like 10 million or a bit less than that with a player swap for Dawson might do the trick. Do I want? When I look at the players that we went out and bought, and you sort of get really quite excited about the players that we went out and bought in the summer. When you look at those players, Keane, I don't know. Doesn't fit into that sort of mold, does he? Doesn't excite. He won't excite West Ham fans. But then nor did Craig Dawson. And look at now. We make up a song for Craig Dawson. We laud him. We don't want him to leave, etc. And maybe, just maybe, David Moyes is thinking that Keane might follow suit, and maybe he can resurrect his career. Tell me what you think. I'll come up with another transfer show or transfer rumors show soon. But let me know what you think. Dawson out, and Keane in, or would you rather keep Craig Dawson at all costs? Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all soon.